crypto, speed matters, but trust matters more. At Caleb and Brown, you're never on your own. We connect you with your own personal broker and a 24/7 team, ready to help you buy, sell, or swap over 250 digital assets with one flat, transparent fee. No spreads, no slippage, no hidden costs. Get the best market prices through deep, aggregated liquidity executed by our professional trading desk. Your funds are secured with institutional-grade cold storage for total peace of mind. Track every move in real time with our intuitive client portal. Anywhere, anytime. Whether you're trading as an individual, trust, or business, we give you speed, security, and peace of mind. Thousands of clients in over 100 countries already trust Caleb and Brown. Visit calebandbrown.com and start your personalized crypto journey today.
And welcome back to another episode of the Blockchain Brew, where I have gotten a fresh shave and a haircut. I mean, I guess I wouldn't call this a shave, but a beard trim, if you will. So there you go. That's funny, John. Vision is Pepe. And, oh wait, Vision said yes. So he is the old Pepe. It was on the channel. I should have known. It made so much sense, you know. I feel dumb for not seeing it coming, but what happened to that John guy that lost in Crow? Oh. Yes, of course, right? Because his at handle must have changed. Anyways, man, I should have seen that coming a mile away. Well, welcome back, Pepe. Welcome back to the channel. I mean, I guess you've still been in here for a while, but welcome back in your new pseudonym. So there we go. Well, guys, a lot to talk about today as Trump has, I say Trump, like Trump went down there single-handedly by himself and snatched up President Maduro. DZ says, bro, I've been holding hyper for 18 days now. Can some of y'all help a brother out and buy some hyper? I don't know if I can buy some hyper, but I can chart hyper and ondo for you, like you asked. Guys, I have a church thing to go to later, so I don't have a beer or a whiskey for you. I'm gonna crack a monster though, get myself a little hyped up. Just don't tell T-Square because he swears that these things are just terrible for you. You know, I watched a video where like it's really just you know, it goes one by one down everything that's in the label, it's really not that bad for you. I mean, you know, just like anything, you shouldn't drink 10 of them, but hey, I hate CCP, says Moon. I'm not going to say what I was about to say. There's no reason for that. Anyways. Okay, guys. Let me pull up some articles here. I'll say what I was gonna say like this. There's someone that I know, and I wasn't gonna name him in this context because it's just kind of taking a jab for no reason. Even though it's not a jab, it's just hey, isn't that crazy? But I'd still be doing it for no reason. I know someone that was drinking like 10 of these a day, except it wasn't even these, it was the higher caffeinated ones. So, he said we booted John in my live stream, but but you're not the real Vision though. Anyways. Hey, Happy New Year, Trent, and everyone. Happy New Year to you as well. I hate CCP. I also hate the CCP. So there you go. Wow, 10, that's gotta damage the heart or something. Yeah, and that's not all the guy was doing either. That was just the icing on the cake over there, so. Okay, here we go. Straight from the Wall Street Journal. Oh, also, guys, when am I supposed to take the Christmas banner off of my StreamYard background? I haven't thought about that. Let me see. Did it give me a New Year's banner? It did not. Why would it give me a Halloween, a Thanksgiving, and a Christmas banner and not give me a New Year's banner? How about this? How about a candy frame? I like that. I mean, oh, no. That's the overlay, though. I need this overlay. And then for the background, how about these? Guys, I've decided it's at least, Christmas through January still, right? My tree is still up. Look, as long as my tree is still up, I'm gonna have a Christmas background on StreamYard, okay? You do all that work, when Christmas rolls around, you go hustle and buy presents and set up a tree, and you go to this party, you go to that party, you go to this function, see this family, go do that, drive 2,000 miles across the country, 34 hours nonstop without a hotel. And then you do it again on the way back, all to just, take the tree down right away? No, I'm leaving that thing up through January, because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to enjoy it for another month. So I love Christmas decor. Exactly. Yeah, wait till February. Got you. Okay. So here we go. President Trump said the U.S. would run Venezuela until there can be a proper transition after the U.S. carried out strikes against the country and captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. I'm curious. I hate CCP. Do you think that this signals anything? Do you think that this tells us anything about the stance that the Trump administration is going to have over the next 3 years now toward other socialist dictatorships, communist countries, such as China, but like don't you feel like getting in a war with China would literally be World War III? I mean, John 3:16. I know that was like your first comment in here, World War III, but you know, do you think that? I hope he's serious because first term was meh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if see, because that's the reason that we don't just go kick Kim Jong-un out of North Korea yesterday, right? The whole reason is because is because China is there protecting their interests in North Korea. He says, good question. All of CCP's military budget came from U.S. consumers buying their crap, right? We got tons of CCP traders in the USA. This is why I don't like to buy Nike stuff. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Like, I think a lot of us buy things that we don't realize were Chinese manufactured until after the fact. And it's something we can all do better with. And it says I wear things with holes because I don't want to accidentally give money to CCP. Dude, respect. Like, some people would look at that and say that you are, being extreme or radical, but we all have to live in a way that aligns with our morals. A.W. Tozer said something. He was a Christian author, and he said, Christians don't tell lies. We go to church and sing them, right? And so what he means by that, is songs like I Surrender All, right? Well, do you? He says, we Christians don't tell lies. We go to church and sing them. I give myself away. Well, do you? It's important to live lives that reflect the truths that we sing and say about Jesus as Christians. And I know that the whole thing with the CCP is not exactly a Christian gospel issue, but it's adjacent because it's a justice issue, right? And God says in the book of Amos, in the book of Isaiah, he says, I the Lord love justice and I hate robbery. And so the Lord feels very strongly about injustice, and we all have to sing them. No comprender. Yeah, he says that Christians don't tell lies. We go to church and sing them, right? When we sing songs like I Surrender All, but then we really don't. That's the concept. Says my mom says I need to dress nicer because no girls will want me looking like homeless. Well, there's nothing wrong with a low profile. Say it like that. Hey, I'd be looking homeless when before I got my beard trim. I think the last couple shirts I had on had a couple holes. I didn't care because I had a hoodie over top of it, but yeah. Okay, so President Trump says the U.S. would run Venezuela until there can be a proper transition. We are going to run the country, Trump said at a news conference from his Mar-a-Lago estate. Trump said U.S. oil companies would spend billions of dollars in Venezuela to fix its oil infrastructure. The U.S. plan for the country includes taking a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground and sharing it in part with Venezuelans, he said. Trump also said it would be very tough for Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado to lead the country. The president said Machado, who has applauded Maduro's removal doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. The U.S. captured Maduro and his wife and extracted them from the country on the USS Iwo Jima in a military operation carried out in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement, according to Trump. The Justice Department charged Maduro and 5 others with playing roles in a drug trafficking network called the Cartel de los Soles and of helping to move large shipments of cocaine toward the U.S. Maduro was transported to Guantanamo Bay. Venezuela's capital was rocked by a series of explosions during the operation. Venezuela's government said that the coastal states of Miranda, Aragua, and La Guardia were also hit. General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, said the operation, dubbed Operation Absolute Resolve, was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal. More than 150 aircraft launched from 20 land and sea bases across the Western Hemisphere, he said, adding that 1 U.S. aircraft was hit, but that there was no loss of American life. Venezuela's vice president called for Maduro's release as the country ordered a general mobilization of the country's social and political forces to counter what it said was an imperialist attack. French President Emmanuel Macron called for Maduro's opponent in the 2024 presidential election to ensure a peaceful transition. So there's a picture of the strikes. Okay. And let's see here. So there's 9 commentaries on CCP documentary. They state CCP is Satan on Earth form, or I mean, communism is Satan on Earth. Hey. Why is this spectrum ad? Okay, so here's the thing. Like, at first, I was kind of the persuasion before this attack that the announcement of a war with Venezuela would have a very negative effect on crypto prices and on markets. But I think that the way that this was carried out, meaning that at first it went straight from, hey, ships are being staged in the ocean around Venezuela, right? It went straight from a staging ground, straight to the breaking news. Hey, they went in there and they snatched up Maduro. It's done, right? Markets don't like uncertainty. That's the thing. So markets don't like uncertainty, but by the time that we even got wind of strikes going on and attacks, it was already done. We already had certainty. Maduro snatched up. He's in Guantanamo Bay. The U.S., along with other countries, I guess, but, the U.S. is running Venezuela right now. And so there's pretty much total certainty around that. So it ended up not shaping to be a situation where there's just so much uncertainty. There's strikes going on, strikes coming back. We're there, but we're not. I don't know. The uncertainty of it was able to be avoided. We went straight to a place of certainty on it right away. So I think that might be enough to not nuke the market. I think I thought we were going to 78K for Bitcoin anyways, right? So you give this a little bit of time to work its way into the market, and I'm not saying it doesn't still have a negative effect, right? You look at the war, the Russia-Ukraine war, and what happened in 2022, it was like Q1 of 2022, And Bitcoin actually had a positive price surge right after the breaking news of the war in Ukraine, right? But then over time, right, the unresolve of it ended up bleeding negatively into the market. And, so what I'm saying is that, based on how policy moves forward around this, some uncertainty can bleed in, right? For example, how long is the US going to run Venezuela? What other countries are involved with this? Does Putin come out and say something? He doesn't even have to do anything. Does Putin come out and say something that nukes the market? Venezuela was a BRICS nation, if I'm not mistaken. What if there's other stirrings of tensions going on globally that sends some bleeding back into the market? So I'm not saying that this doesn't begin to bleed negative in the coming weeks. I'm just saying right now, it wasn't a war announcement that nuked the market because there was relative certainty right away. Okay, so as a matter of fact, Bitcoin's up, and as a matter of fact, I can see 94K in the works. I can see the mid $90,000 range in the works before we tap a lower high and then correct. Says, how many of our troops going to be committed inside Venezuela? I wonder that too. Does this clearly demonstrate that we don't have the ability to remove Putin/Xi, since otherwise it would have been done? Yeah, I don't know. I think we may have the ability, but at what cost? That I think that's the discussion. Perhaps we have the ability, but is it as warranted, to the general public as Venezuela was? They were able to, say that their efforts in Venezuela are under the guise of the war on drugs and and the cartel doing direct harm to American citizens. Can they make that same sort of claim against Russia or China directly? We know that China has a massively negative impact on American citizens, but we have to go 3-4 layers deep or so to really get there, when this was just a very clear matter of fact, hey, the cartel connection and intentional pumping of drugs into the US is very clear, and it's time to react. Perhaps we could remove Putin or Xi, but perhaps we'd also incur a lot more casualty in doing so. It's all very interesting to me, and something that I think we ought to consider here as a Christian is the Olivet Discourse, what Jesus had to say about the end of the age. And so here we are in Matthew chapter 24. It says, Jesus left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out to him the buildings of the temple. But he answered them, "You see all these, don't you? Truly I say to you, there will not be one stone left upon another that will not be thrown down." And he sat on the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us when these things will be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age." Jesus answered them, See that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginning of birth pains. Okay. So, what you have here is, Jesus warning very clearly of wars and rumors of wars, and kingdom rising against kingdom. He also says nation against nation, and he's not saying the same thing twice. The word there for nation in Greek is the word ethnos, and it's where we get the word ethnicity in English, right? So you're talking unprecedented racial war, unprecedented racial hostility in the earth, along with an unprecedented amount of war. Now, the skeptical reader, or just the skeptic in general, the skeptical hearer might say, hey, war is as old as human history. Why does this mean we're in the end times? Why does this mean Jesus is coming soon? By the way, I'm not one of those people on TikTok. I don't believe in a pre-trib rapture. I don't believe that Jesus is going to snatch Christians up in the air and poof us away before things get bad in the earth, or before things get really bad. So when I say this sort of stuff, I don't want people to hear boycott TikTok, right? I don't want people to hear I don't want people to hear that in the wrong way, right? But to the skeptic that says, hey, war is as old as human history, why does this mean we're in the end times? Well, it's very simple. None of these things that are said here, by the way, all of these are the beginning of, Jesus says they're the beginning of birth pains, right? Leading up to the what he calls the abomination of desolation, when the Antichrist stands in the temple in Jerusalem, declares himself to be God, demands that the nations worship him and receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, without which they can't buy or sell. The beginning of birth pains lead up slowly to the abomination of desolation, and Jesus is comparing the acceleration of the end time pressure to a pregnancy, right? And specifically to the labor pains before birth, right? Where you have less intense contractions and more severe contractions, and then hey, it's crowning, right? That's the word picture that he's giving, and he's telling us that things like wars, rumors of wars, unprecedented racial hostility, all of these things are the beginning of birth pains. The end is not quite yet, but these are the beginning of birth pains. And war has always happened. Famine has always happened. Disease has always happened. The Black Plague, COVID. We had COVID and people said it's the end times. And, well, what about the Black Plague 500 years ago? This sort of idea. Well, the answer is simple. None of these things can actually be signs of the end times unless Israel exists as a sovereign nation, right? The reason being, you back up to chapter 23, and Jesus speaks of a political leadership of Israel before his second coming. And not only that, there has to be a Jerusalem temple in order for the abomination to take place. And so there must be a state of Israel with a defined political leadership in order for any of the end time events before Christ's second coming to actually be signs of the times. And Jerusalem has only been, has only belonged to Israel as a sovereign state in the modern day since 1967. My dad was born in 1967. Like, only in his lifetime can we biblically talk about something like a famine or a pandemic or a war or a rumor of war or racial crisis, right? Only within the last 60 years or so can we actually talk biblically about any of these things being signs of the end times. So put on top of that the advent of crypto and AI. And now just begin to ask yourself, like, the first thing that Jesus warned about in the text was deception. See that no one deceives you. Right? Deception. Like, add AI into the picture here. Global government, harlot Babylon system, and restriction of buying and selling. Well, okay, now add crypto. Add closed, centralized blockchains into the, add CBDCs into the picture here. And it's not very hard to see how we are living in the most unique generation of human history. And I don't mean XRP. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I'm exposed to XRP. I want to make money off of it, but it's true. You're right. I'm not saying, like, look, people are people, folk are folk. Right? When I say we're living in the most unique generation of human history, I'm not saying that, like, Ecclesiastes says there's nothing new under the sun. People have always been people, and people have always had evil in their hearts. John chapter 1 says the light has come into the world, and men preferred darkness rather than light. Men loved darkness rather than light. So there's nothing new under the sun. People have always been people. But what I mean is that we're living in the most unprecedented generation of human history. Right? Like, the advancement that's happened, and Daniel says this in Daniel chapter 12. He says knowledge will increase, right? And as knowledge increases, he talks about the fullness of sin in the earth, right? And the advancement that's happened in the last decade has outpaced the previous 500 years before it easily. Like, we're living in the most unprecedented generation in human history. So anyways, I know that a lot of people, don't come here for that, but there you have it. I mean, I appreciate you. If you're on here and you just want to hear about crypto and you don't want to hear about any of that, I mean, I appreciate you for sticking with me through it. I appreciate you having an open mind. We can all exercise having an open mind, right? Like, it doesn't mean we have to be so open-minded our brains fall out. Total collapse, end of days means moon. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so yesterday, this was the path that I was giving for Bitcoin. And, you know, it's funny. It's like the price is moving, you know, right along my line here. Let me go to the daily. And here's the thing about this is that it's almost time for me to short this. I do think that the hyperwave right here is going to continue up a little bit, and it's going to get oversold above 80. I do think that we could make a real concerted effort at approaching 94K, but I think we're going to reject below it. You know, we could even make, here's a couple more horizontal levels right there at 93.4, and right here at 92.6. You know, it could it could find a rejection point at any of those spots. I suppose here's another one. You know, 91.3, and if you add these candle bottoms here in the mix, like 92 even, okay, somewhere in here, the price is going to reject, and then I see us coming down to make an under over test of this trend line before we send down to 78K. All right, and what that would do is it would essentially it would come down and test the top of this trend line. And then from that point, you have to sort of ask yourself if it's gonna relief rally, roll over, right? And you end up with an over-under test of this level. So the take profit of the daily sell signal is still down here at 78,000. You know, the take profit number 2 is at 70,000. So let me go to the 4 hour, and I will erase, well, I won't erase those charts yet. Not quite yet. Maybe before Monday's show. So look, we have a strong sell signal, a strong buy signal on Luxalgo with a green trend catcher. And where's the take profit? Right? It's right kind of in between where I drew here. The take profit is at $92,400. We had a bullish break of this trend line, and ever since we did, we've been following my line to the upside. We also have this trend line here, drawn by Luxalgo, and this trend line here. So these ones are on the 4 hours, so they're a little bit less significant than. So I'll color them different. I'll color them yellow. Okay. So you have this trend right here acting as support. Now it's a much weaker trend than the white lines, so if we roll over, we could just crash right through it, or we could test it a few times. You know, the 4 hour is going to continue up for right now, The stochastic RSI has cooled off and then crossed bullish again. The hyperwave has flipped bullish, and it has plenty of room to move up before it's overbought. Same thing with the stochastic, and the take profit is up here at 92.4. So I'm gonna wait for a little bit through the weekend and see if we can get closer to 92 before I short Bitcoin. Okay. Muffhead says, I think alts are looking like they are going to go on a run this year, but not yet. Soon. I think so too. Not yet. I think we have another washout down to the 70s for Bitcoin. I hope that we hold a higher low. I hope that we can create a bottom at 77 or 78K, and then it would still technically be a hidden bullish divergence from the April low. That's what I hope. What's up, Muffhead? What's up, Amelia? Thank you guys for hopping in. Yeah, I think we have one more washout. That's why I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go long on altcoins just yet. My strategy right now is to short Bitcoin and Ethereum at good levels, and right now I'm waiting the weekend out to see if Bitcoin pushes up to 92K and put a short in. So there we go. Now, DZ, put a +1 in the chat if you're still here, DZ. I'm going to check out Hyper and Ondo for you right now. If anyone else has a coin, you can go ahead and drop that. Hyper. Let's see here. Okay, so Hyper on the 4-hour. Let me just go ahead and erase everything. Remove 12 drawings. All right. We've got trend line. Trend line. Let's see what trend lines we see on the daily. Okay, nothing really. 1 hour. Trend line. And we didn't see any on the daily because the asset's too new. So the 1 hour and the 4 hour both have a buy signal on Luxalgo. 4 hour has a buy signal, but with a red trend catcher. So this is where I would say, based on my understanding of Luxalgo, that the buy signal is not confirmed. Although if you longed at the buy signal, you squeezed out 8%. Or I guess the buy signal came in on this candle, so let's say you waited for the candle to close. Well, you still squeezed out 5.4%. You know, add a little levy to that and it's not too bad. Heck, even on spot, I mean, you can close out, 5% a week. You're killing it. So on the 1 hour, you have a strong buy signal with a green trend catcher. Take profits up here at 13 cents, 0.1299. Let's put a horizontal level of resistance right there. Come back to the 4 hour. And, you know, that would be a double top at best. You know, and the thing is, even if you went a little higher, and you managed to hit the take profit of the 4 hour, even though the trend catcher is not agreeing, well, then you end up creating a little bearish divergence there. Swing up on price, swing down on potential swing down on the indicator, you know, depending on where things close. But, you know, you could set up for bearish divergence. You know, I will say the hyperwave is only at 66 on the 4 hour. It has room to move. So it's something you got to watch. Like, I wouldn't long this right now because, like, if I wanted to do it, I should have. If I wanted to do it, then I should have longed it at the signal, or better yet, I should have longed it at the last signal, right when it met my criteria, which was, you know, strong buy signal with green trend catcher. I don't think I would have had the guts to do that one though, because both the hyperwave, the stochastic RSI, everything was so overbought, and you had these bearish reversal signals. So, you know, I will say money flow is still strongly in the red. So how far can it go past the take profit level with red money flow? You know, you hit your take profit, especially when these take profits are built for spot, not leverage. Like, you hit your take profit, what more do you want? How much further do you want it to go? What more do you want it to do? Right? Especially with red money flow. So I wouldn't look for this to be blasting off to Valhalla right now. Spectra AI. Okay. DZ also asked for Ondo. Ooh. I mean, look at these, like, series of bearish divergence on the 1 hour. I mean, it's had quite the run. Look at that. You know, from down here at 36 cents. I mean, that's a beautiful move on the 1 hour. Erase my drawings. 4 hour. You know, we broke that take profit. We took it out. Things are resetting. We left this trend line in the dust back here. But we may meet up with this one. Right? Kick back down to 39 cents. Depending on where, you know, depending on how steep you draw it, like 38 cents, right? 38 to 39 cents. Really, that's like 38 to 40. Which would put me right about in the middle at like, 39. Daily. So this is something to consider here. At some point, would you not expect a retest of this trend up here? I mean, you just got a buy signal with a green trend catcher on the daily for Ondo, which looks pretty good for altcoins. Like, let's see where ADA stacks up against that. ADA, you have a buy signal without a green trend catcher. And even the last time you got one, like, you only had well, that was a 26% move. Not too shabby. Over 9 bars. But the trend was still bearish. So Ondo, let's look at near. Okay, no green trend catcher. XRP, no green trend catcher. Solana, no green trend catcher. So the fact that we looked at Ondo, and Ondo is showing that, isn't the Ondo Summit coming up soon here? The fact that we have this green trend catcher matching the buy signal, not too shabby. Only problem is, stochastic RSI is high, but it's Stokes. It's the faster moving oscillator. It can reset without nuking the price, and the hyperwave is not overbought. It's only down here at 63. Has room to move. So on the daily, would you not eventually expect a retest of this trend up here? And you have a take profit at 59 cents. I mean, not too shabby at all. But I kind of expect some suppression here before we could talk about that. So, and then I hate CCP said Spectra AI. Let's look at it. Spectra. Well, what's the ticker for that? Spec USD maybe? Let's see over here if I go to Spectra. So the ticker should just be Spectra. Market cap 4.6 million. I don't think this is on TradingView. So if I just pull up candlesticks over here, do my best with what I have, go to the daily, I mean, this wick, how high did this go? Oh my god. $7? It's at 46 cents. And it's hard to tell, but like, could be a falling wedge. Weekly chart. Okay, now if we do that in terms of market cap, it's achieved a $70 million market cap in the past, and the price being below like all of this action shows me that the volume history, like, if this is something that's if this is a project that's actually building, I mean, you have all of this volume history up here that wants it wants some action again. Let's look at what this is. Spectra AI is revolutionizing blockchain predictions with all-in-one tools available on Telegram and App. Use Spectra Bot for short-term token predictions, and stay ahead with cutting-edge sentiment analysis, including X bubble maps, sentiment analysis chart, and TA analysis chatbots. I gotta look into this more. So there you go, guys. Spectra AI. DZ, you think Bitcoin gonna dump? I do. I think that it's going to. I also looked at Ondo and Hyper for you. I'm about to log off here in a second, but I gotta go use the bathroom, and T-Square's not here to cover for me. But yeah, like I covered Ondo and Hyper for you. I do think Bitcoin is going to move up to. I do think Bitcoin is going to attack somewhere between $92,000 to $94,000 first. I'm waiting the weekend out, into Monday, Tuesday, like to watch for those prices, and I'm hoping to put in a short at those levels, because I do see us moving down to 78 still. But yeah, there you go, guys. Spectra AI. I just realized my coin market cap wasn't up here. I want to share this tab instead. But, Spectra AI, thanks for that one. I hate CCP. This is something I'm going to be taking a look at and updating you guys about what I find and how I feel after I spend some more time looking at their X and stuff like that. So thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. Thank you for making this the most hydrated crypto community on YouTube. Thank you, DZ. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, I Hate CCP. Thank you, Muffhead. Thank you, DZ. Did I already say that? Thank you, Pepe. Thank you, John316. Cheers.